Here's the second lesson. In this one, you're going to take turns feeling each other's hands, and you can include up to the forearms if you both agree, but no farther. And that's it. So you're essentially taking in the first lesson you've opened the inflow of information in and pleasure in, and you're going to bring that same awareness to feeling your partner's hand, which is a very different thing than giving your partner a hand massage or a hand caress. So the structure is really simple. You're going to take turns. May I feel your hand? Yes, you may. You're going to feel their hand, then you're going to thank them, and they're going to say, you're welcome. And then you're going to switch roles. That's all it is, really simple. In this video, I'm going to give you a few more details that can sometimes make a really big difference in letting it click for you. And I'll also talk a little bit about the dynamic itself. And then in the next videos, I'll go into a little more depth about each of the two roles in here that we're playing with. You'll be doing this lesson a dozen times at least, and more times than that if it's a little hard to click for you, but at least a dozen or so times, because you want it to be very natural and without having to really think about what you're doing. And it's also helpful to give yourself as much time as you need, just like the first one. It's a different amount of time how long it takes for it to click for people. So it's helpful if you can just sort of give yourself some open-ended time. If not, you play with it with the time you have, and you come back and play with it another time, and it will click for you. One way to think of this experience is that you are conducting an experiment, and you want to see, can you keep your hands open while you're touching your partner? And so you're going to sort of borrow your partner's hand to experiment with, so that they're doing you a favor by letting you play with their hand. And so that helps you remember that, oh, this is for you. This is not for them. That they are giving you the gift of letting you explore their hand. So it's not about you pleasing them. And that dynamic is the reverse of what most people think of as sort of the normal way to touch. And that's the dynamic that we're playing with here. In the next lesson, we'll be playing with that other dynamic. So in this lesson, here's the steps. You're going to turn to your partner, ask them, may I feel your hand? And you're going to use just those words. If you offer to give them something like, would you like massage or would you like me to touch your hand, you're going to confuse yourself. So this is for you. You ask for what you want. May I feel your hand? And then you're going to wait until they answer. You're not going to get started before they give you a yes. When they say yes, then you will lean back in your chair, same reasons as before, and not halfway back, all the way back. You're going to bring their hand to your lap, and again, it's helpful if you have a pillow in your lap. Bring their hand to your lap, settle in, explore, enjoy, and start with feeling for the anatomy. Find where the joints move, locate the bones, what's the texture, how does this thing constructed, how does it actually work? And then as you continue to explore that hand, you will start to notice that it feels pleasant, just like the first lesson. Oh, it feels pleasant. And then you just let your hands explore in the way that's most pleasant to you. You set aside what you think they might like, and do what feels most pleasant to you. And you will probably have to remind yourself a few times, many people do, that, oh, wait a minute, who is this for? Oh yeah, it's for me. So just explore, play, let your hands enjoy themselves. And just like in the first lesson, if you bring your attention back to the sensation in your hands, that will make the shifts for you. That's what sort of, it's like you let your skin do the work for you. Bring your attention back to the sensation in your hands, and then you will notice that the gift is not going towards them. It's not going away from you. It's going towards you. They are giving the gift to you. And when that sort of clicks and you get it with your hands, then a lot of things change. You're just like before, you sort of settle into the pleasure of it. Your body settles in, and just like before, there can be an emotional response quite often it's a sense of relief. Oh my gosh, I get to do this. This feels great. I forgot that I knew how to do this. Sometimes it's confusing or it feels very odd. And sometimes there can be a feeling of self-doubt or shame or guilt. Oh my gosh, I'm being selfish. What's wrong with me? So lots of range in how that experience can feel to you. So that's what the click is. You let your hands follow their own pleasure, and you notice that they are giving you this gift of letting you explore and play. And then when your time is up, or you've given yourself enough time to let that click, you turn to them again and you say, thank you. And they'll say, you're welcome. And then you switch roles. So let's talk about the other role in which your partner has asked you, may I feel your hand? And the yes is not automatic. I've never actually had anybody say no in this particular lesson. However, when the playing field is bigger and you bring in your whole bodies in as the playground, then your ability to say no will actually be very important. So at any rate, your partner says, may I feel your hand? Pause a moment and notice, is this a gift that I can give easily and with a full heart? And assuming that it is, you say yes, you give them your hand. And then there's really nothing else for you to do. It will probably feel lovely, might not, might be boring, doesn't matter. It's not about you. This is a gift that you're giving to them. The only thing that may be, that might happen, which is extremely rare, is that if they do something to your hand that's uncomfortable, or it tickles, or they bend your finger too far, you say ouch or stop or don't do that. So you are giving, you're setting aside what you might prefer, but you are keeping your responsibility to take care of yourself and have a limit. And that's the essence of this particular role. So they're playing with your hand. It probably will feel great because their hands are relaxed and they're very present and they're not on a mission. So it's often some of the best touch you've ever had. I've had many people say that. Sometimes the hardest part is remembering that actually it's for them. It's not really for you. Still, you get to enjoy it as much as you enjoy it. It's a bonus. And then when they say, thank you, what you say is, you're welcome. And you say nothing else. And the reason is that if it felt great to you, you'll probably be tempted to say, oh, no, thank you, that was wonderful. But then you're going to confuse who it was really for. And what's the crux of this one is getting very clear about who is this actually for. It's for them. You gave them a gift, say you're welcome, and then nothing else. And that thank you, you're welcome is often where it actually clicks for people and they realize, oh, that's what I was just doing. And then optional, if you like, you can spend a few minutes to talk about what you noticed about each of yourselves in that experience. That's optional. So a few words about this dynamic and the roles in it. This dynamic is the opposite of what most people are used to and think of as sort of normal. And it's the one that's crucial for this whole process to make any sense. And it's not likely to make any sense until your hands get it. When you are exploring and feeling your partner's hand and it clicks, oh, this is for me, that's when this whole thing starts to make sense. If this doesn't make any sense, it's just because your hands haven't felt it yet. And when they do, this will be obvious. So this dynamic, the doer is receiving the gift. The one who's being done to is giving that gift. And the gift that they're giving is the gift of access. Not a very sexy word, but it's an accurate word. So in the role where I'm feeling your hand, I call that the taking role. Taking is a word that has connotations that are less than pleasant for some people, but again, it's an accurate word. I'm taking action to collect this gift that you're giving me, as opposed to, for example, the gift is being dropped in my hand. In this one, I'm receiving a gift, but I have to reach out and pick up that gift. The role in which I'm allowing my hand to be felt that's called allowing. And that one's easier for most people. It's pretty simple. There's really nothing to do. The taking role tends to be the most challenging for almost everyone. And a lot of that's because giving and doing are so welded together in your brain that as soon as you start doing anything, you feel like you're giving. So most of the instructions that I just gave you and that we'll troubleshoot later are really about breaking that weld that doing equals giving. It's not until you stop giving that you're able to notice that you're receiving a gift. And that switch is the crucial piece here, and that's what clicks, and then all of a sudden it makes sense. So again, in this dynamic, the action is going, if I'm in the taking role, I'm feeling up your hand, the action is going that way, but the gift is coming this way. So that's the instructions. I'm going to bring my friend Will in to demonstrate for you so that you can see how it looks. And then we'll talk a little later about troubleshooting. Hi, Will.
Hey, Betty.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
So Will has graciously agreed to let me play with his hand. So that's what we're going to do. First, I'm going to get more pillow behind me. We'll get really comfy. And you've played this game before, so yeah. So informed consent we have here.
Yes.
So Will, may I play with your hand? May I explore your hand, feel your hand?
Yes.
Great. Yeah. So we're going to get a pillow because it's a little easier. And I'm going to lean back and bring his hand right into my lap. And I'm going to feel the joints of it, what moves, how does it work, what's this thing made of. And I'm just going to feel it, explore it, and at some point, that's going to shift into just enjoying it, the feel of it. I like the feel of these knuckles here. I like this little bit of hair on the back of the hand. I like the warmth of it. And so I'm just going to play with that. And may I include up to your elbow?
Yes.
Can I use the other hand? It'll be easier to reach.
Yeah.
Thank you. Again, I like feeling the shapes here. It's pleasant. And this nice little bony spot right here feels nice. And then we're going to go for a while until I notice that, oh, I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing it for him. Ah, yeah, okay. And there's that click that we talked about. And then I'm going to say thank you.
You're welcome.
And then we're going to switch.
Betty, may I feel your hand?
Yeah, you may. It's always interesting to me how differently different people feel a hand. I've played this with many hundreds of people and so many different ways to feel a hand. It's pretty fascinating. So the gift that I'm giving here is just letting him do what he wants to do. It does feel kind of nice, actually.
May I include up to your elbow as well?
Yeah, you may.
Thank you. I was mostly interested in the wrist. I like wrists.
A lot of bones in there.
Move all sorts of ways.
We could continue this for quite a long time, but in light of the viewing audience, we'll say that that's it.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Anything you want to share that you noticed?
I notice, well, first of all, in the giving angle, I notice just how I have to sometimes struggle to relax and let myself get out of directing, get out of, step out of, sort of indicating, and just let you take my hand.
Yeah.
I find that to be a very difficult direction to work. Taking, because I'm more practiced in it and I have practiced it consciously, has become more easy for me over time. And so letting my curiosity and playfulness really start to take over, I am pretty adept at it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So that, but still I struggle with the giving.
Yeah, with the allowing.
Yeah, the allowing. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So one more little troubleshooting piece about finding the taking role. And that is that many people will say to me, you're talking about touching for my pleasure, but it's giving them pleasure that gives me pleasure. So what I really want to do is give them pleasure. And that sounds really great at first until you look a little deeper, and here's what's happening with that. I think of it as a direct route to pleasure and sort of an indirect route, and here's what's happening. So here's your brain, and here's your hand, and of course the nerve endings in your hand fire up the nerves that travel up to your brain, and that's where your brain says, okay, it's a shell, it's a hand, whatever it says, and then it goes over to the pleasure center and lights that up. So that's a direct route. Just comes right up the nerve cells into your brain, right up to your pleasure center. Very simple. We're born with it. The other route is that here's your partner over here, and you do something to them that they like, makes them smile or moan or whatever it is that you want to see, and then you see that response, and then that lights up your pleasure center. Okay? So that's an indirect route. You have to sort of throw out a boomerang and catch this response and bring it back in order to have your pleasure. That's a lovely way to enjoy it. And it's not to say that it's a problem. It's wonderful to see your partner in pleasure. Of course it is fabulous. And it turns out to be problematic if that's your only route. And here's why that happens. For most of us, to some degree, this inborn, innate, direct route has been shut off for various reasons in various ways. And the first lesson where you're feeling the object is about opening that. And that has to be open before you can experience the taking quadrant. And if this is closed off, then this becomes your only option. In which case it's no longer an option, it's a requirement. It's really more of a prison. So you have got to go this way, you've got to get that smile or that moan, or you don't really enjoy yourself. And we'll come back to why that's problematic. But if you hear yourself say, oh, but it's giving them pleasure that gives me pleasure, this is the route that you're talking about. But in the taking role, this is the route that we're playing with, and it opens a completely different door. So that's what's happening there. So that's taking and allowing. May I feel your hand? Yes, you may. Feeling their hand, enjoying it. The gift is the gift of access. What you'll do is you'll come back and play this at least a dozen times, maybe 20 times. Because what you find is the first time or two, there'll be an aha. And then when you come back to it the next time, you'll have to kind of start over and get that click again. And then the next time you come back to it, it'll be a little easier, a little more immediate. But you want it to be able to just click right in as soon as you begin. And it's there. It's just a matter of playing with it and coming back to it so that you're very comfortable with it. You have ease with it. If you want to, you can alternate this lesson with the next one. So you can do this lesson, and then tomorrow do that one, and the next day come back and do this one, and then do that one. That's fine, but if you do that, make sure that you know which one you are in, which one you're doing, because the whole point of it is to be able to tell the difference. And if you can't really tell the difference, you're not in either of them. You may have a lovely time, but you're not doing this, you're doing something else. So this one a dozen times, maybe 20. That one another dozen times, maybe 20. You alternate them if you want. Either way is fine. What you'll find is that it's this one, the taking and the allowing, that makes your hands much more sensitive, much more sensual, much more clear. They just feel better. And then that one will also feel better. Okay, thanks.